Hey guys, Carly Sterner with Burleigh County Sheriff's Department. I'm the school resource officer.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Brock Jolliffs. I'm a Burleigh County Deputy as a school resource officer, and I'm also a member of the North Dakota National Guard. In honor of Red Ribbon Week, we've chosen 3 books to read to you. We hope you enjoy them. Our first book is Sarah's Sick Day. Sarah woke up one morning with a sore throat and a fever.
Her mom said that Sarah needed to stay home from school. Sarah didn't want to miss school. It was Share Day, her favorite day of the week. She would miss sharing her new birthday doll. She would miss snack time with her friend Grace. She would also miss story time, and today was her day to sit on the class beanbag.
Sarah decided she needed some medicine. If she took medicine, she'd feel well enough to go to school. Sarah asked her mom for some medicine to help her feel better.
Medicine won't help you get to school today, sweetheart. We'll call the doctor and see what she says, Sarah's mom explained.
She led Sarah back to the bed and tucked her in. Snug as a bug in a rug, she teased. Then she went downstairs to call the doctor.
Sarah really wanted to go to school. She knew there was medicine in the bathroom cabinet. Maybe she could take just a little bit before her mom got back from the kitchen. Then she would feel better and be able to go to school.
Sarah tiptoed to the bathroom. She opened the cabinet and peeked inside. I can take just a little sip of this purple stuff, and then I'll feel all better. Then Mommy will let me go to school. Sarah thought to herself as she reached for the bottle.
She tried twisting the cap, but it seemed to be stuck. She twisted it again and again, but realized it was locked. Just then, her mom came back upstairs.
Sarah, what are you doing? Medicine is dangerous for kids. Sarah's mom rushed into the bathroom and grabbed the bottle out of Sarah's hand.
I thought, Sarah stammered. She knew medicine made people feel better, but obviously her mom thought she was doing something wrong.
I'm sorry, Mommy. I just wanted to feel better and go to school. Sarah's eyes filled with tears that spilled over her warm red cheeks. Her mother scooped Sarah into her arms and hugged her close. Then she walked her daughter back to the bedroom and told her to climb into bed.
Sarah, it's very dangerous to take medicine by yourself. You need an adult to help you know how much medicine to take. Too much medicine, even if it's the right kind, can make you very sick.
Okay, whispered Sarah. She felt kind of embarrassed. She was glad she hadn't been able to open the bottle of the purple medicine.
Even though medicine bottles are hard for kids to open, Sarah's mom decided it would be safest to keep them in a locked cabinet.
She told Sarah that she must never again try to get medicine by herself.
Sarah promised her mom that she would never take medicine without a grown-up to help again.
Sarah was sad to be missing school, but she was glad she hadn't made herself even sicker by taking too much medicine.
Sarah curled up in bed with her new birthday doll. She was feeling really yucky, and it felt good to lie down. She knew her mom would take good care of her, and that felt better than any medicine.
The second book we've chosen for you is Charlie and the Curious Club, Candy or Medicine. Charlie McCloud was curious by nature. Even ordinary things like regular old apples sent his wheels a-spinning. What makes some apples red and others green? Does eating one a day really keep the doctor away?
Charlie crunched down to the core. He spit a round seed onto the table. Hey, Mom, if I planted this, would an apple tree grow? Mom smiled. Sounds like an investigation for the Curious Club. Charlie pumped his fist. Sure does. I'm going to call Dylan over for a special meeting. Charlie scooped up 3 apples from the basket and headed outside to the treehouse.
Dylan arrived minutes later and got right to work investigating. Look at the shape of the seed, he said. Neat, said Charlie, but I haven't figured out whether or not apples are like medicine and can really keep the doctor away. Want to help me look at this book? Sure. Dylan reached to take the book from Charlie's hand when a loud thunk stopped them both. What was that, Charlie? Asked Charlie.
The boys peered out and saw a moving truck pull in next door. A lady with tight gray curls stepped out, and sitting on her shoulder was a parrot.
We can investigate apples and doctors later, Charlie stated. Right now, the Curious Club has to find out about our new neighbor and her pet parrot. Yeah, explained Dylan. Why doesn't it just fly away?
The boys ran inside to ask Mrs. McCloud if they could meet the new neighbor and learn more about her unusual pet. Sure, said Mrs. McLeod. I've already met Miss Shirley. She seems very nice.
The ding-dong of the doorbell was followed by a loud caw, caw. Pierre, shh, said the gray-haired lady as she opened the front door. Good afternoon. I'm Miss Shirley, and this noisy guy is Pierre. Come on in.
He entered the living room. New questions flooded his mind. There were so many things he'd never seen before. What should he investigate first? Caw, caw. Pierre's squawks reminded Charlie of their mission. Miss Shirley, why doesn't Pierre fly away? Miss Shirley reached for Pierre, and she sat on the sofa. His wing is clipped. See? Dylan took notes in the Curious Club journal and made a sketch of Pierre's clipped wing. Miss Shirley asked what Dylan was doing. Charlie explained all about the Curious Club, and that gave him an idea. I know, Pierre can be the third member of our club.
Caw, caw, Pierre squawked and flapped his wings. I guess he approves, Miss Shirley laughed. Would you boys like some lemonade? Both boys nodded, and Miss Shirley headed into the kitchen.
Charlie wandered around the room. Look at all this stuff. Dylan picked up an old-looking gadget. Charlie spotted a colorful trinket on the table. I think there's a new kind of candy over here, Charlie whispered. Do you think the red ones are strawberry or cherry? That's a strange-looking dish, Dylan added. What do you suppose the letters mean? Sounds like an investigation for the Curious Club, Charlie exclaimed. Caw, caw, Pierre hurried his way to the table. Why is he pecking like that? Charlie asked. Dylan shrugged. Maybe it's his candy.
Let's take some candies back to the treehouse anyway. We can taste them there. Did someone say candies? I love candies, Miss Shirley entered with a tray of lemonade, but nearly dropped it when she saw what the boys were playing with and investigating. Oh dear, that's not candy. That's medication in my special container. It has exactly the right amount that I need to take each day. So that's what the letters are for, Dylan said.
Pierre was trying to warn us, Charlie added. Being curious is a good thing, boys, but curiosity without caution is dangerous. Do you know what happens if you take too much medicine or if you take the wrong kind? Something bad, Charlie guessed. Look here, in this poison safety book, said Miss Shirley. Charlie read out loud, tummy aches, vomiting, a visit to the hospital. Oh no, this is something the Curious Club needs to know more about right now. May we borrow this? Of course, replied Miss Shirley. On one condition, whatever you learn, the Curious Club will share with other children.
While they studied the poison safety book and munched on apples, they kept the doctor away and made a new pledge for the Curious Club.
All for one and one for all, we explore things big or small. But before we touch or smell or taste, we ask the grown-up if it's safe. Caw, caw.
And later, they kept their promise to share all they learned with the kids like you. And the third book we chose is No Thanks, Saying No to Alcohol and Drugs. As the school bus rumbled uphill, Blake hefted his backpack. The driver would yell if he stood up now, but he wanted to get off already, race toward home, and start practicing his kicks and hand chops.
His best friend Colton elbowed him. You and Jacob practicing karate? Colton asked. Yeah, Blake nodded. Only 2 more days until the tournament. Dad says if I do well, he'll buy me that tablet we saw on the internet. That's cool, Colton said. Tension and excitement twisted in Blake's stomach. He could almost feel the tablet scream beneath his fingertips. With coaching from Colton's older brother, Jacob, Blake was confident he'd shine at the tournament.
The bus groaned to a halt, and Blake was the first off and into the cool, crisp air. He set off up the driveway, and Colton beside him. Colton and his older brother, Jacob, lived in the first house on the mountainside, and Blake and his family lived in the second house. Blake never thought about the things changing on the mountain. He just figured they'd go on being the same. But this winter, an old couple up the road had moved away, and a new family moved in, Ryan's family.
Ryan always had a quick answer. He could talk his way into or out of anything. Even the high school teachers had a hard time disagreeing with him. But Ryan had changed things on the mountain. Since Ryan came around, Jacob had changed. He didn't want to hang out with Blake and Colton anymore. He said they were lame and immature. Instead, he and Ryan hung out over the ridge by the empty barn in the Pierce's field.
Hey guys, Blake called as Jacob and Ryan sauntered past. Ryan was so lanky in his dark hoodie and tight jeans that he reminded Blake of a wintertime tree. Jacob, can we practice my kicks as soon as we're home? Blake asked. Jacob shrugged. Might be busy, he mumbled. Blake felt a jolt of disappointment. Busy doing what? He asked. Look, man, I need some more help before the tournament. I've only got 2 days. You promised you'd coach me.
Yeah, whatever, Jacob muttered. Jacob's got other things on his mind, Ryan smirked. Jacob's my main man. Blake didn't know what Ryan was talking about. I really need help, he repeated. How about coming to the old barn, Ryan asked. Then maybe Jacob can help you later with your samurai stuff. Blake bit his lip. Sure, I guess, he finally mumbled. Hey, Colton, you want to play with the big boys too? Ryan called. Colton shrugged, but he fell into step.
Blake and Colton followed the older kids up the mountain, past the houses and across the field to the barn. Blake leaned in the doorway, staring at the bales of musty hay. He couldn't see what the attraction was. He'd rather be at home in the basement, learning how to make the sides of his hands into lethal weapons. Not that he was allowed to use them unless he was in karate class or a tournament. Still, it was a cool skill to master.
Ryan crossed the barn and slid a hand into the hay. He pulled out a bottle with water in it. Uncapping the lid, he took a swig and then held the bottle out to Blake. Have some, he said. You can sweat it out later when you do your samurai kicks. What is it? Blake asked. Ryan grinned. Pure spring water, he said. Something about the glint in his eyes made Blake suspicious. Seriously, what is it? He asked. It's vodka, Jacob said, sounding nervous. Ryan swiped it from home. Cool place to stash it, Ryan said. Have some.
Blake took a step back and shook his head. His stomach churned with anxiety. No thanks. It's no big deal, Ryan said. Jacob drinks it. I said no thanks, Blake repeated. Ryan shrugged and handed the bottle to Jacob. Maybe you'll like my other secret better.
He stuck his skinny arm into the hay again and pulled out a plastic bag that he passed to Jacob with a wink. Blake stared at the bag. Inside were greeny brown dried leaves, some rolled into small cigarettes. What's that? He asked. Colton knew. It's pot. What are you doing with this stuff? He asked his brother. Jacob shrugged his eyes, sliding away. Want to come over here and smoke sometimes? He explained. It's no big deal. You want to try it? Mom and Dad will kill us if they find out, Colton said.
Jacob laughed uneasily. Chill out. We're not hurting anyone. Blake, you seriously need to try some, Ryan said, holding the bag out for Blake.
Blake's mind raced and whirled. He couldn't believe this was happening on a normal afternoon, in this place where he and Jacob and Colton had built swings and flown kites. I gotta run now, Blake announced. I gotta go practice. Yeah, but try this first, Ryan said. It will relax you. Suddenly, the words of Blake's instructor filled his head and spilled out of his mouth. At karate class, we learn to keep a clear mind and to do kicks. I need to be coordinated and focused, not relaxed and stoned.
Kid's not getting the message, Ryan said, rolling his eyes. He took the vodka from Jacob and shoved it into the hay. Blake hopped anxiously from one foot to the other. He felt like a boa constrictor was wrapped around his chest. He could hardly breathe against the pressure. Come on, Ryan persisted. It'll be fun. He opened the bag and took out a marijuana joint. Blake backed away, almost stumbling against Colton.
Ryan pulled a lighter from one pocket. The flame shone bright. Colton might smoke it, Blake thought. Colton might smoke it because Jacob is his brother. Then if I don't smoke, Colton might not be my buddy anymore. I might lose my best friend. He'll take sides with his brother, not with me. A stab of fear made Blake's knees weak. He couldn't imagine life on the mountain without Colton being a part of it. He then remembered one more thing his karate instructor had told the class. If you have to face a crisis, do it with courage. Blake stopped shifting from foot to foot. He used his firmest voice. I'm not into this, he said, then turned and walked away.
Patches of melting snow crunched as Blake left the barn and crossed the field. It seemed to stretch on forever. He'd never felt so lonely. His legs had never felt so heavy. He listened for footsteps behind him, but all he heard was laughter.
Then he heard someone running. Hey, buddy, wait up, Colton called. Blake swung around. Did you smoke it, he asked. Nah, Colton said. I told Ryan I had asthma when I was a kid, and I hate the smell of smoke. A grin stretched Blake's face. Race you, he shouted. I gotta go practice my chops and kicks.
We hope you enjoyed our books. Have a great week.